What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to CM Aviation. Hope you're on a fantastic day today. And today we have the NG Models August 2025 releases for you all. NG Models has certainly been a hot topic lately. We have a bunch of releases here to cover. So with that being said, we're not going to waste any further time and just start going one by one through them all, everybody. Hope all of you are excited. Let's get started. The first aircraft is the Garuda Indonesia Airbus A330-300. Some of these they posted as future previews on Instagram and then put them right into this release. So I apologize if I already know about some of these. But anyway, this one's actually pretty good. This is Papa Kilo Golf Papa Alpha, and this is a Pikachu livery. So let's go ahead and take a look. Looks really nice there, and it has some nice icons on it. So definitely a popular version of a recycled idea. So we will certainly take it right there. The next one is a normal livery. This is Papa Kilo Golf Papa Whiskey. Let's go ahead and take a look. And I already do have a, let's see, I do have one of the previous NG versions actually. So I won't get this exact one, but I hope that, for everybody that does want it, there's an opportunity here. Here's a sticker here on Papa Kilo Golf Papa X-Ray Handed Travel Go-Kart sticker. We know how we feel about this. We talked about this extensively from a US perspective in the video that just recently came out, but we definitely can talk about this from a global perspective and will very soon. So certainly stay on the lookout. But yeah, same song, second verse on a bunch of these duplicates. And we have a fourth Garuda in A330. This one has the same sticker and it's Victor this time. And I don't think there's going to be, okay, yeah. So this one has the V-stick heart on it. So yeah, at least the stickers have variety, but when you get not only duplicates, but sticker duplicates, that's when you know you're grinding. So Garuda Indonesia A330s for the win. We got 4 of them. Next aircraft's the China Southern Airbus A350-900. This is the first one that they introduced. This is Bravo 308 Tango. Now, I believe that we have got China Southern A350s, but once again, they've done so many at this point, like 200 Asia aircraft sometimes. It's tough to recall. So certainly looks nice though. We will see if we get a duplicate to go with it. This time it's Bravo 32 Foxtrot Romeo. And this aircraft very similar. So we know how we feel about this. We went over this 150 times at this point, so we'll just continue to cover what we have here. We have a blank A350 freighter, which is certainly interesting considering that there's not many A350 freighters, if any. So certainly hope that everybody that would like to maximize the usage of that can certainly do so. So that was certainly a fascinating one. And finally, an aircraft that we US collectors really wanted. Very happy to see at least one. We might get 3 in this release, US releases. A Sun Country 737-800 Minnesota Gophers livery. I will certainly be getting this, and this might be the only one that I get out of this release, but 809 Sierra Yankee. Very happy to see a release that, we really, needed. The JetBlue previously was good, but this is certainly really awesome to see a plane that, will be really useful for many collectors. So very excited about this, and I'm certainly really excited to get this. So yeah, I'm getting some cool specials. That JetBlue in May was cool, and then we had this Sun Country. So hopefully the upcoming releases will build off of this, and it's going to be interesting to see those 1-200s as well. That's going to be fascinating too. So anyway, we will continue right back into the Asia aircraft. We have the China Southern Boeing 787-9. This has the sticker on it. So once again, I believe that this has been released, but I don't want to misspeak. So it's certainly looking sharp right there. This time we have the first one introduced. So if you're looking to collect them all, you certainly have the opportunity to do so with the A350s and 787s. So big China Southern month, there's no doubt about it. This time we have an Xiamen Airlines Boeing 737-700 Bravo 5218. This is the old colors. I think they did the new colors lately. So cool to get a, yeah, they haven't done this yet. So this is actually a pretty good one. This is also a 1-200 release, so we're already bouncing up there. So we're going to get quite a few US aircraft. Unfortunately, I really have no idea what they are. So I'm really eager to see what this is going to be all about. So yeah, looking nice though, and that's a new one. So that's certainly exciting. This is the revised old colors here. So let's take a look at what that looks like. And this one has the winglets. So yeah, it's a cool looking livery. So glad to see aircraft that they haven't done yet getting done there. That's awesome. Okay, Southwest 737-700, just the wrong scale, I'm kidding. This has the hard livery scimitars. This is a very popular aircraft, so this re-release I think is very justified, and I really want it, so this might be the opportunity I take on it to get it. 922 Whiskey November. So yeah, this is a very popular one. Very much makes sense. You can live with this one a little bit more than some of the others, in my opinion. So I think that this is definitely a good choice right there. That's a really good re-release. This one is probably going to be blended winglets, which, once again, I think maybe just one right here would have been a little bit more appropriate, but putting them together is fine. It's understandable. 7853 Alpha, and yes, blended winglets. So they're very popular. You can understand a re-release here, especially during the tough times with the ongoing situations. So I have a little bit more empathy for these two popular ones. It's a little bit different than doing, let's say, I don't know, Delta 738 again, right? So those make some sense there, so certainly can live with that. And then we have a China Eastern Boeing 737-700. This is the Yonking Peacock orange livery, and this is Bravo 6141. And let's see what this looks like. Pretty cool looking livery. We've been over this. I know they've done it for sure in 1-400, but I believe that's the first time 1-200. So makes some sense there. That's a pretty good release. We can certainly live with that. And we have another one. They may have added in some bonus ones. This one, however, is 5807 and subtle differences at best, if any differences. So what would I ever expect from NG? This is actually a good release. This actually makes some real sense. A non-duplicate at Delta Airlines Boeing 737-700 November 301 Delta Quebec. Now, obviously, this aircraft is not active anymore, but considering, you know, that it hasn't been done in 1-200 in a while, it certainly makes sense. So NG, very good. Now relay the effort to 1-400. We'd love to see that, but that's definitely a really good release. So I think many collectors in the US will be very happy with the 1-200 offerings. That's really nice. And now the American One World Boeing 737-800 gets done. It's 973 Alpha November, which I believe is going to have the logo on the winglet. So this is a very nice release right here. Now this, I think in-flight's done a One World, but it's been several years at this point. So another release that actually makes some sense. I don't believe Gemini ever did the One World, the 1-200. So another one that really makes some sense. Another very good choice for sure. They have done the One World and 1-400, so hopefully we'll see those heritage deliveries make it down. But see, this is what I'm talking about, you know, with the flow like this, when you get into these aircraft that there's only one of. This makes more sense, much more logical, much more progression, and it simply continues to add up. Now this is a variation of last month. We have another Delta 737, this time at 800. It's 388 Delta Alpha. They did the Braves in the blended last month. This month we're getting the Scimitar version. So I actually don't believe there's a Scimitar out in 1-200, so yet again another very good release, another very unique one, and this one should be really popular. As like I said, I don't think a Scimitar exists in 200 yet, so that's a really good release. I really like it. They've done all these 1-400 here, but there's still so many 1-400 subjects they haven't covered initially, and I presented a long list of those previous videos, but these 1-200s definitely making some sense. Now this one's going to be very popular. Gemini has done in the past and in flight too, but I think the desirability of the NG mold makes so much sense on another Delta Boeing 737. See, if you're going to do the duplicates, or this are rather not duplicates, but the same aircraft type, let's get the different variants. I love it. This time Boeing 737-900, so we're getting the whole fleet in this release. 851 Delta November, also with Scimitar winglets. Like I said, I know for model airport builders, this is going to be a really desirable one with a really good mold. I have no idea if in-flight's done this or not. So regardless of the case, I know it's going to be popular and it makes some sense. So NG really cooking on 1-200. Hopefully we'll see that 1-400 at some point soon. So far, really impressed with those 1-200s. We have a China Southern Boeing 737-800 Bravo 5761, and this time we have a standard livery. So should be pretty popular. I don't think they've done that exact one yet. So we're making some sense here. This is really turning out like you would like to see for the 1-200 collectors. And here we go back with our re-regs. So we know how we feel about it, but there we go. In the American 737 MAX 8's already going to make it up to 1-200. That was quick, and I'm eager to see the color on this. This is going to be fascinating, but I know Gemini and in-flight have both done it, and the colors have been interesting on those, so NG has an opportunity to really make a statement here. Bravo 306 Romeo Charlie, I think they meant to put on here November, unless if it's a bare metal. And certainly an ironic one for the picture not to load on, and it's in the 9200s, which is also interesting, 92,000s rather. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm eager to see if that's bare metal or there it is. Okay, yeah, November 306 Romeo Charlie, just a typo. And this is such the first Max I spotted, so I certainly have interest in getting this aircraft. By the way, that CGI color, that is perfection. Now just get it on the actual aircraft. So I certainly have interest in this first Max I ever saw. It's a really cool one. So maybe the stars will align to get it. I don't know, but definitely, you know, these are going to be really popular. So I know the 1-200 collectors are going to be very excited to see some of these, especially, you know, just with the immaculate mold on the 737. Also, no A321s really at all 737 variants. So pretty interesting notes here from NG. We will continue to keep an eye on the tracker. And they're also going to do 327 SK. Very same story. I think we're probably good on these. I don't think we need all the duplicates. I think they just do it under one reg and call it good. But you know what? We're getting some better subjects on 1-200, so we can live with it. So I still think this doesn't excuse that, you know, there's so many good. And I'm not complaining at this point. I'm giving an analysis. So don't take the, you know, thought process here for criticism. That's certainly not the case. But I do think that, you know, there's still so many examples that haven't been done very often, 1-200, like the Frontiers and so forth, that I think would make a little bit more sense. But this is progress, and maybe one day we'll see this 1-400. But yeah, definitely gonna have to consider some of these. That Delta 739 is definitely an appealing one for sure. So the American Max as well. So we'll see. Continuing with 1-200, we had the Xiamen Air 737 MAX 8 in the current livery, Bravo 20 Charlie Romeo. This is a really nice aircraft, and I think this makes quite a bit of sense here. They haven't done this yet, so that's definitely a good one right there. I like it. We know how we feel. It's 1289. I will show the CGI. Same story, just getting the different registrations knocked out. We got another China Southern Comac 919 1200. I think they've done this several times. Yeah, this is a light, so that would make a little bit more sense. So yeah, hopefully that turns out well. And the price is substantially reduced, so that is cool. So I think that's decent, not too bad. Back to 1-400, we got China Eastern Boeing 777-300 ER. It's 7881 this time, with Bravo as the initial number. And yeah, I believe they've done this one a good handful of times, so I don't know exactly what we're doing with this. So yeah, the CGI won't load, but I'll attempt to get back to it. Here's 2025. Once again, I'm pretty sure this aircraft's been done, so not very glamorous. In fact, I think it was done in the last release, so I'm not here to complain, just giving an analysis. I don't know what we're doing with that one particularly. We got a Comac ARJ21. This is that one I don't think's been done in a while, so that one's pretty cool. I think they maybe did that one time, but it was a while back, if they even have. So, and it's only $15, so I'm honestly kind of interested in getting it. I don't know if that's because it's a light or why exactly, or if it's because there's no branding really on it besides just a kind of house livery. So that's certainly a fascinating one. And this one is $16.99, and this must be the product photo version of it. Let's see how it turned out. I'm eager to see if we can get this to load. I'd like to see how this turned out. Sometimes these CGIs just will refuse to load, so tough to go at it there. All right, we have Juno Air coming back, June YO Air, however it's said. This is the Boston China livery, and it's Bravo 226 November, just November. This hasn't been released in a while, so I think we make some more sense here, and it's a new livery, so this is definitely solid. We can live with that, and that's definitely nice. Where the roadblock begins, though, is getting it twice, and this is a slight, if any, variation of it. I don't see any variation. Don't really understand the logic there, but there we go. Okay, finally getting into some really good aircraft. These are highly anticipated, and I'm not even an Asia collector, so I think this is actually making some sense. We have the Korean Air Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner. This is the new livery, Hotel Lima 8515. Very good release. Certainly really interested in getting a new Korean Air. Definitely the 748 since I saw that first, but also would like to get the Boeing 333 for Dallas. So this is actually a pretty good release, and I think that this actually makes some sense. Get in there. So yeah, that's really good, and that might be a better release honestly than Sun Country. That actually makes some sense. We also no duplicates. Man, imagine that. We have the Airbus A330-300 also in the new livery, so they're going to do the entire fleet in this release, which I think spreading them out would have been maybe a little bit more understandable, but this is definitely better than duplicates so far. So the duplicates are coming, unfortunately, but this is definitely really cool. Another nice looking aircraft, and I'm really glad to see NG knocking this out because I don't think anybody's done the Korean Air A330. Well, somebody maybe has done one 330. It's mainly been the 333 and 747, but I don't know if anybody's done the A330 yet. So yeah, that's a very good one right there. Looking very good. And I believe we're going to have a duplicate. No duplicates. I thought there was. It must be the next Korean aircraft coming up. China Southern 737 MAX 8 Bravo 20 Alpha Tango. I feel like okay, 1-200. Yeah, I don't think they've done that 1-200. That makes some sense. But these Koreans, honestly, really good. This is effort. Hopefully we'll see more of that in the future. That's really good. This one has the first sticker on it, so we have 3 first stickers in this release. I don't see anywhere where that is, but at least there's some more substantialness to it being their first, you know, so we can live a little bit more with that. Now we have that Yunkin Peacock livery coming in on the orange here for the China Eastern A330, which this one I feel like they've done as well. I could be wrong, but same song, second verse on that really. And finally, another aircraft that's never been done here by NG that really makes some sense. This is the L-1011 Northrop Grumman with missile test bed, November 104 Sierra Charlie. A very good aircraft right here. This is, you know, a really cool aircraft nicknamed Stargazer. I think people are really going to like this. A very neat release for sure, and definitely one that I would like to see, you know, maybe if I get on clearance someday or whatever. But yeah, this is a very nice aircraft and great to finally get some more US representation. They did tell me in DMs that this was coming, and they didn't lie, so we love that. So very good release right there, and very happy to see that. Man, this is a China Southern fleet building month. We got a China Southern Boeing 777, and you can see July sneaking in now, so pretty interesting there. 200 is Bravo 2052. And that looks pretty good, and I don't think they've done that yet. So I could come over here and fact search all of these, but some of these, I'm not recognizing. Some of them are. In this case, I'm not recognizing this. So happy to see that. That's a pretty good one right there. Really making some sense. This is the first aircraft that we've had, but the cool part about this one is mainland China. No stickers to represent it, but, at least there's some substantialness to it. We'll still a little bit better. That, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't know where the 747 is, but there was a US 747 that I thought was going to come out. Here's all the futures, yes. So I don't know why, but some of these I thought were going to be put in this release. They didn't end up being so. So we're going to go ahead and talk about these briefly, but we'll talk about them more when they get released. We have some more ARJ21s, Air China and Comac Express, no surprise there. Very happy to see Air Europa, Boeing 737 MAX 8. We need Europe representation bad. I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. But yeah, very glad to at least see some here, so that's really exciting. These were the duplicates I was talking about for Korean Air to Boeing 737-900ERs. I really appreciate them leaving this for another release. I think the two other Koreans by themselves there really made sense. And perhaps even I could say so, the Boeing prototype 747. So that'll be nice to get to feature that in another US release another release for to get some more US representation whenever it's going to be. So they have two versions of it here, the Ultimate and the normal, but it's just that Chrome 747. There it is. Admittingly, it is a cool looking aircraft, so hopefully we'll get that to pair with another mainstream US airline in an upcoming release, maybe a handful of US aircraft, hopefully. So we get into the Transalvia Airbus A321neo. I think this is the retro neo livery, which is really nice. I'd love to get this in a perfect world, but I already have a Transalvia, so probably gonna have to let that go. But I'm really glad to see them doing some European aircraft. We needed that bad. And the Iceland Air Pan Am 757, this is really cool. In 1-200, I don't know if you can consider this a US or an Iceland Air, but regardless, it is really cool. So very happy to see that. Very stoked to see the Qatar Boeing 777-300ER UEAF blue livery. This is a great livery, so definitely really excited to see this, and I kind of even want to buy it at some point. We'll see, but that's a really good livery. So some very popular offerings here. This really makes sense, and we also have the 1-400 Pan Am as well. So yeah, the futures definitely give me hope. This is what the lineup should look like, right? A balanced set of releases. This is awesome. So if this came out as a release by itself, by all means, I would be jumping. So we need some more US and more releases overall. But that brings me to my next point. The European representation, we'll actually start from a balanced perspective. Let me give the overall thoughts on this release. First off, the August 2025 releases were large. There were quite a few aircraft in it, to say the least. Now, number two, there was certainly plenty of Asia aircraft. We're not surprised to see that. Yeah, definitely check out my latest videos on NG. It's certainly been pretty crazy to see all of what's been going on. I covered, in the first video, I covered really the concept of the shift away, and then I got into details on the latest video. That second video I did really got into details on the strategy change regarding all the US duplicates and how fast that percentage came up. And Richard from Yesterday's Airlines made a video talking about the subject more in depth, and he brought up some good points. There's also some that personally I of course respectfully didn't necessarily agree with, is probably just the simplest way to say it. There wasn't any problem with his opinion. I respect his opinion, but I think there were a couple places where there was a few shortcomings in the thought process, which is fine. I mean, I think that his thoughts were very thought out. I think that there was a bunch of really good points he made, especially NG's perspective. I still think they don't have too much crazy Western media access, but the process of leading up to November and so forth, and with the ongoing situations, why maybe NG would have been a little bit more hesitant to release aircraft. But I thought for sure that they would have just went full steam ahead until tariffs, for example, were actually in effect. So that was a big discussion point of those videos and so forth, and I reacted to his, so definitely check all that out for the latest and greatest updates. But this is a pretty standard NG release, though is bigger than normal, it seems like. So yeah, quite a few moving pieces here from that, but definitely check out those videos. And Richard's video definitely had some really good points, so I definitely don't want to downgrade him in any way. I appreciate his perspective, and I thought a bunch of it was really good, and there was a couple of places I respectfully didn't necessarily agree with, and that's okay. But as of for NG here with August, 4 Garudas is what it is. I think just the 3 top ones maybe would have been a little more understandable, but at least there is some substantial differences, so we knocked that out. China Southern fleet building, my goodness, man, there was like 8 or 10 of them. That's impressive. But we have the A350, 787, 737, so on and so forth. all the first aircraft here too. That was certainly interesting, but at least it gives the duplicates some more substantial reputability. So I think that aspect of it's certainly nice. So I certainly was happy to see some more in that regard. The one lone modern US aircraft we got was that Sun Country 737 Minnesota Gophers. Very happy to see that. Definitely will be getting that, and eager to add another Sun Country special into the fleet since they're few and far between. I'll be eager to see what will be next in regards to US aircraft. We obviously know the situation, the video talks about it, but hopefully the situation improves so that NG can do some more aircraft. They have also told me in direct messages that more variety will be in the coming months, and if that future preview is indicative of what to expect, I'll be very happy. So yeah, very cool to see that. And then I'll talk about the European and other regions of the world once we get to the bottom. The China Southerns once again making an impact, and then the 1 and 200s. Yeah, this is certainly interesting. I explored this a little bit in the previous video on NG that I made recently, but is it because of profitability, or what exactly is the reason for all the US aircraft? Southwest are so popular, so I think those getting released certainly makes some sense. China Easterns are also probably pretty popular, so I think that also adds up well, but definitely like to get one of these at some point too, so we'll see if it works out. But glad to see NG recognizing some popular aircraft here and getting them done. Delta 700 really makes sense, very happy about that. American One World, also a very logical choice, really making sense. And both Deltas, both these are really, all these are really popular aircraft. US collectors are certainly going to be all after these. I think it makes a bunch of sense here, some high quality molds, especially the 700 and the Delta Scimitar 800, both those, but really I'm happy with all those choices. So very good job on their behalf. And the American Max, also pretty good choice there too. Obviously high quality mold, and I think that collectors, it's been a while since it got released. So NG I think did, or sorry, In-Flight I think did it 2 years ago. So should make some sense for anybody that's looking for it. China Southern 737-800, another aircraft that is very popular among the community. I don't think they've done it yet, so it makes sense. We have the Xiamen Airs, which also are pretty cool. So yeah, 1-200 really made some sense. There's some good logic there. China Easterns, not quite. I think they probably could have saved those for next year at this time. Mentioned by the Comac here. I think it is a new unique piece and a good price point, so I like it. We have the Juno Air 787s. One would have been sufficient, but hey, it got better here as the Korean Airs. Both these are phenomenal, really good piece of the release. I really like it, thinks it makes a bunch of sense, and overall very happy with the effort there. So that's certainly exciting, and really appreciate NG's efforts towards recognizing some new popular aircraft. China Southerns, 1-200 back to 1-200. Yeah, it hasn't been done yet, so certainly can live with that. That's pretty solid. The China Eastern E330. That's another one that, makes some sense. Well, actually, I think it's been released. So, but anyway, just the same story. China Southern 777s down here. Yeah, China Southern fleet building, but I don't think those have been done yet. I could be wrong, but anyway, cool to see that. And obviously the Stargazer, I think that's another aircraft that's pretty cool too. So making some sense, I would say. So yeah, and then once again, these future releases, I think there is some logic to these, and I'm excited to see what will happen out of these and what they can, hopefully they can build on this. But the future previews, if they're going off of this, if this is what they continue to build off of, will really make some sense. We will see if NG Models evens it out, everybody. I certainly hope to see so. I think we are making some progress, hopefully more progress to come. I would hope when you have over 40 releases, at least a couple of them would be from around the world. And then the last major point that I wanted to make about the August releases, absolutely no representation from Europe, Africa, South America, Australia, and so forth. I do think that it's inexcusable to not have any representation from other regions of around the world. I am not particularly happy about it. I think that it's even more complain worthy than what I'm complaining about as a US collector, and I will say as a US collector we are extremely fortunate and pretty spoiled, to be completely honest. So I do need to be more mindful of other regions of the world, and I certainly hope to see NG pick up the pace, because this was a poor effort from Europe. Now obviously we do have the 2 future previews, so that's nice, but if I'm a European collector, I'm absolutely livid right now. And I certainly hope to see NG turn this around, because they did like 80 European aircraft in 2023, and they've done like 15 so far this year. Absolutely pathetic. So on pace to barely get 30 done. So a 60% decrease. NG, please work on the European releases along with South America and Africa. I know those have been the lowest 2 represented continents in the model aircraft landscape, but there are still collectors from there that would really appreciate the releases, and in Australia as well, which is Australia's recovered really nicely from other manufacturers, but it's still surprising to see. Same could be said for Europe in some degree. but it's still interesting to see no releases from there recently at all. So I certainly hope to see that improve, and hopefully we'll have better news in the next release. So September is going to be interesting. We obviously have a little bit of time to breathe until that's coming out. This I think was originally going to be a July release, but they ended up making it August. So yeah, what a situation. We'll have more videos coming out on it soon, everybody. I hope all of you are excited for those. Been quite the situation. We will continue to see what happens, and it's going to be interesting. Let me know what you all think in the comments. But with that being said, that'll do it for today's video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Test process. Do you love and love you do. My name is CM Aviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon as CM Aviation is signing off.